From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an OU update. I'm Jenny Carlson. National Signing Day for the Sooners, and that always means some prospects coming from south of the Red River. Texas high schools being a prime recruiting ground for the Sooners over the years. Jason Kersey joins us on the phone to talk about this. And Jason, despite a large number of Texas high school guys over the years, this recruiting class only has 3, and I assume it's not for lack of trying. I assume the Sooners were trying to get as many guys out of that state as possible, but only end up with 3. Is that just kind of a head scratcher, or how do you kind of look at that?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that kind of go into that. I mean, we've seen OU maybe rely on Texas, OU and OSU rely on Texas less the last few years. I think a large part of that is because Texas A&M is in the SEC, and I think that is undoubtedly affected things in some ways. Texas A&M, even though they haven't really, they had the one real good year with Johnny Manziel, and other than that, they hadn't been extremely successful on the field, but they've really recruited well. So that's part of it. And then the other part of it is, OU's really tried to go more nationally. They've signed a lot of guys from California in the last few years, particularly some big-name guys, some guys who wound up being big contributors. Tony Jefferson, Kenny Stills, Joe Mixon, and this year they hope Caleb Kelly. So, and this year we also saw them go into Philadelphia to get an offensive lineman. We saw them go into Illinois to get an offensive lineman. They've gone into Florida more the last few years. So it is interesting and it's strange, but I think that there are reasons for it, and I don't think that it's totally killed their recruiting.
Well, Jason, you talk about the rankings, and if you look out there, it's changing a lot today as guys announce, but clearly Oklahoma has a top 25, top 20 type recruiting class. So, and that's sort of been the range that they've been. Some years jumping up a little bit higher in the last few, but that's been pretty consistent. So, despite this class that has as many guys coming from Lackawanna Community College as from the state of Texas, it looks like it's still going to end up being a pretty solid class for the Sooners. Yeah,
it should be. I mean, they. I think we will know way more about this class and how good it is at around 7:30 tonight.
Yeah.
Because that's when Caleb Kelly is set to announce, and when he announces, if he chooses the Sooners, it's going to drastically improve the way this class looks. And if he doesn't, it hurts a little bit, I think, for the Sooners, but I still think it's a pretty good class all in all. The other thing about the Texas recruiting that I think is interesting is that of the 3 that have committed, 2 of them came, very recently, within the last couple of weeks. Adrian Hardy's the only one who's been committed for a long time from Texas. Now, they've had others who have decommitted, Parrish Cobb being one who flipped to Baylor yesterday, but a couple of these guys have come on very recently.
Definitely so. Yeah, it would have been really interesting if we'd been sitting here on signing day with only 1 Texas high school commitment in that Sooners class. As it is, 3 guys and a couple that look like they could potentially play some roles fairly early on. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.